Wow, Marcus, well done. SilencedTech deserves the damn good award.
What's up everyone, it's Mark, back again with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at two newly released mice from SteelSeries, the Rival and Sensei 310. Both feature a new sensor that SteelSeries have called the True Move 3, developed in partnership with Pixar. The new sensor is simply another variant of the 3360, and most 3360 variants have jitter reduction after 2100 dpi. With the True Move sensor, however, jitter reduction isn't introduced until 3200 dpi. That could be a good reason to pick up the Rival or Sensei 310. Clearly that's only going to benefit you though if you're going past that 2100 dpi range. Regardless, it's great to see SteelSeries collabing with Pixar, improving on an already great sensor. The True Move 3 is exclusive to SteelSeries, so you won't be using it on any other brand anytime soon. So let's take a closer look at the two mice with the new sensor. First, the Sensei 310, an ambidextrous design with forward and back buttons on the left and right, weighing in at 92 grams. Returning to its roots as a well-priced professional grade A gaming mouse with a price tag of only $59.99 in the US and £59.99 in the UK, the Sensei manages to ever so slightly undercut a lot of the competition. The mouse has a sandy matte plastic coating with silicone rubber each side aiding grip. There's also 8 buttons around the mouse. The forward and back buttons have a nice tactile click, although I found it hard to activate the forward button without changing my gripping position. While testing out the Sensei, I was activating the forward and back buttons also on the opposite side to my thumb, and I would highly recommend turning them off using the SteelSeries software. The left and right clicks do feel slightly mushy. There's some play when moving the clicks from left to right, although they are very responsive and have no travel distance past the actuation points. I had no trouble using them for burst firing in my favourite FPS shooters. The scroll wheel feels okay, but individual scroll steps aren't very well defined. Button 3 has a solid tactile bump. The CPI button behind the scroll wheel is easy to get at, and I never pressed it in by mistake once while gaming. The CPI button lets you toggle between only 2 steps of CPI adjustments, compared to some mice that lets you switch between a lot more. The Sensei 310 is pretty large. Here it is up against the Logitech G900, with dimensions of 125.1mm in length, a width of 60.77mm at the front, 61.77mm at gripping width, and 70.39mm at the back. Its height is 38.95mm and the cable length is 2 meters, and it's unbraided. The mouse has a wide base at the back with a steep hump and tapered edges underneath to minimise drag. Its best grip style in my opinion is palm. I have 18cm hands which rest on this mouse nicely. It's just a shame there's no comfort grooves on the left and right clicks. Just for a bit of fun, it's hardly scientific. Using reaction, my own personal input lag time was 194 milliseconds with an average distance from the target of 5. Comparing that to my Zowie FK2, my favourite mouse of all time, that scored 182 milliseconds and had a distance from the target of 4.5. Moving on to the rival 310, priced the same at $59.99 in the US and £59.99 in the UK, SteelSeries make choosing between the two a hard choice. If I focus on things that are different between the two mice, unlike the Sensei 310, the rival 310 has an ergonomic shape designed for right-hand users. Its weight is lighter than the Sensei's at only 88.3 grams. Dimensions are 127.6mm in length, width is 57.16mm at the front, 62mm at the gripping width and 70.1mm at the back. Height is 41.98mm, and lastly the cable is unbraided and it's 2 meters in length. So the rival 310 is quite a bit taller and ever so slightly longer than the Sensei as well. Taking a closer look at the mouse, the forward and back buttons are placed a little too high in my opinion, and again, much like the Sensei 310, the forward button is very difficult to get at without altering my gripping position. Both buttons are also larger than the Sensei 310's, needlessly so. The left and right clicks on the rival are slightly more defined, but with more travel and play when you move them from left to right. The scroll wheel feels exactly the same as the Sensei, a little mushy, although button 3 has a nice defined bump. The CPI button is extremely well placed and never once did I hit it by mistake. The rival's shape is nearly perfect, although my hands rest ever so slightly too high on the mouse. At the back there's also a slope, giving my palm good support. The left side tapers off, leading to a subtle thumb groove. Overall the shape at the back fits my hand very well. Onto the game of performance, I had an absolute blast using both of these mice in my favourite FPS shooter, Battlefield 1. Both exhibited one-to-one tracking, zero jitter below 3200 DPI, no skipping, and they both lacked any signs of mouse acceleration. Lift-off distance on both were at 2mm, making them perfect for FPS shooters. Quickly browsing through the SteelSeries software, you can map all of the buttons to single keys, macros, or even multimedia buttons. There's also the option to choose various lighting effects from steady, color shift, multicolor, breathe, and lastly trigger. Each predefined effect can be customized even further to your liking. Other options include changing the 2 steps of CPI that can be toggled using the CPI button on the mouse. You're also able to customize acceleration, deceleration, angle snapping and polling rate. Well, since the software is out of the way, I guess it's now time for the awards. My overall favourite of the two mice is the rival 310. It fits my hand extremely well, with the Sensei a close second. It was actually surprisingly comfortable for an ambidextrous mouse. My overall award for the rival 310 is going to be gold. There's a few things that stopped it receiving a platinum award, like the loose left and right clicks and a pretty bad rattle. The final award for the Sensei 310 is going to be gold as well, missing out on a platinum for the same reasons as the rival. Nevertheless, I was really impressed and I could quite easily use either for my daily driver, especially for FPS gaming. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed the review. My name's Mark from SilencedTech. Goodbye.